That was a pretty strange person, Katie. She's been called generous and weird.
Raise up the mic.
You totally fucked me up, so we'll start over. No, we'll jump in. Pepper pooped in a cardboard box in our backyard one time when she was like 5 years old. Because she's Pepper. So she does whatever the fuck she wants. So I looked down, and like 20 seconds in, I was told I had 5 minutes, so a lot of ground. The thing is, the real world has always been something that Pepper can kind of control just by imagining a different version of it. And she started testing elements of this power very early on. So if you're Pepper, and you want to poop in a box, you just imagine your 3-year-old brother fetching some TP from the house, and the universe obeys, and everything falls into place, and everything's cooked up. Now, generally speaking, Pepper can manifest her alternate imagined reality whenever she pleases. For example, one time in New York, Pepper needed a new phone. Oh, I'm sorry. That's later. For example, one time in New York, Pepper had a couple glasses of wine. And at a bar, and she was wearing this like very fashion-forward shawl. And, it might have been like part of a fisherman's net that was like coming apart. It was like very dangly. And she's leaning over a bar, like on the phone, and there's a candle there. And she like sort of lit herself on fire just for a minute. And then she scolds the bartender. And she's like, "Who puts a candle there? That lit me on fire." And like a minute later, with some negotiating, the bartender gives her a free glass of wine. And I was there, I saw the whole thing go down, and I was like, what universe do you live in where this is possible, where this is what happens? She's like this like sassy, skinny, wild-eyed magician. But I have a theory. Pepper's thesis at Princeton, this isn't fact checked, so I hope it's close. Pepper's thesis at Princeton was about lucid dreaming. And the idea is if you exercise too much control, you break the moment and you wake up. But if you do it just right, you're in control of everything. And you're also sort of at the same time like this passenger along for the ride, but like with your mind, you're controlling where things are going, but you don't interrupt it. And you don't wake up and it's like your universe, right? So from what I can tell, Pepper seems to have figured out how to extend this control to her everyday life. Yes. And usually she nails it and she gets free wine for burning herself. But she does occasionally overreach. And her magic fails her. For example, one time when Pepper needed a new cell phone, now we're here, because she threw the cell phone that she had at a bouncer outside of a club in New York. Now, I'm pretty sure what was supposed to happen was that the bouncer was supposed to turn into this like Disneyland animatronic mechanical version of himself, and his like arm would swing in this like real mechanical like specific arc, and he'd be like, "Come on inside." And, like, the doors of the club would just like open up with this like hydraulic jerky whooshing noise, and there'd be like this wall of fog, and the whole sidewalk that Pepper was standing on would just go straight forward into the club, like she was on a theme park ride. But none of that happened. The point is, magic is quite strong, but there are limits. Now, I do want to take a quick minute to talk about Pepper as a friend, not just as a life magician. Pepper cares very deeply for her friends and her family who tend to be friends. If you think the world is falling apart, she'll make you feel for a moment like it's not. And if it has fallen apart, she's comforting without negating the reality. She's willing to feel what you feel, even if that's terribly shitty. So she can palpably be with you until you don't feel alone anymore. So I want to thank her for 30 years of that comfort. I think this capacity for empathy stems from Pepper's inclination to experience life very deeply in general. In fact, Pepper seems to be experiencing things all the time, almost indiscriminately from the world around her. And she enlists us to experience with her. She'd be like, "Marshall, look at that bird. Marshall, do you see that bird? Marshall, look. Marshall, look at the sky. Look at those clouds. Marshall, do you see those clouds?" If you want to have a good time, try this with Pepper sometime. Just start chanting, "Yeah. Yeah. 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 Yeah." And after like 15 seconds, Pepper will start going, "Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. What are we doing? Yeah. What is it? What is it? Yeah. What are we doing?" She doesn't know what we're excited about yet. But she's right there with you. Pepper frequently expresses this excitement when introducing to people she cares about. Maybe some of you have been there for that. So I wasn't surprised by her enthusiasm for me to meet Marshall. Now, I learned Marshall's about 34, and he still works on Wall Street. So we have to assume he's like 30% evil and 70% good. But 70% seems powerful and frequently dominant, particularly when there's a little encouragement from a positive influence nearby, like Pepper or like me. For example, after a few drinks in the British Virgin Islands this New Year's, Marshall wanted to steal a water taxi and go joyriding in the bay. But hold on, Marshall. But I was able to talk him out of it.
You're going to be a captain?
It's my story, I'm sticking to it. And he's very redeemable for a finance guy. I also sense Marshall's the type of person who will hold back to let others shine, and he's genuinely, he really gets off when they do. He's happy when that happens. And this alone makes him a extremely well-suited match for Pepper. But I believe there's more profound than, like, for some of you out there, dare I say, cosmic, spiritual balance being created by their union. To illustrate, one time Pepper was trying to use her magic to manifest some leftover dinner salad into Marshall's mouth. And she was like, Marsh, have some more salad. Marshall, you tried salad, it's really good. Just a little bit left. And if that happened to me or you or anybody else out there, everything would have been a blur. And all of a sudden you'd be like super full, like this healthy salad way. And you'd be like, what the fuck happened? But Marshall was like Neo from The Matrix 1. Now, if you haven't seen The Matrix, just think about whatever you've been trying not to think about like the last 10 minutes. And then come back with me in like 30 seconds. So, Pepper's like, have some salad. You try the salad? There's just a little bit left. Marshall's like, the mic doesn't move, in my rehearsals it moves, but Marshall's like, it's like that. He's like, I've had some salad, it was delicious. And he's just like, but I choose not to have any more. Choose not to have any more. It's not what it's So, Marshall actually has influence from within Pepper's matrix. This is a big deal. Okay, so between the two of them, I think they can create this loving, mutually envisioned reality where you can manifest serendipity whenever and wherever you please. But you also don't mistake cell phones for magic acorns. And because of this, at the end of this great ride of life that we're all on, they'll still feel young and energized and excited by possibilities. And they'll look at each other and they'll say, I could totally do that again. And then Pepper will say, yeah, I think I can pull that off. And she'll go, and she'll distract the theme park attendants, and they'll forget to collect their souls. And they'll stay in their seats, and the ride will start over, and they'll hold hands. And there'll be this jerky hydraulic whooshing noise. And they'll cut through a wall of fog, and they might get to do it all over again, one more time. So here's the Marshall and Pepper to magic being real and to choosing, Marshall, what we do in life. Congratulations, I'm so happy you guys found each other, and that you reached the thoughtful conclusion that the appropriate way to celebrate your marriage was to throw my wife and I a wonderful party with a bunch of strangers on our 5th anniversary. Not really too much, falling on the sword, but, nonetheless, thank you so much.